Next topic is this performance excellence. We actually stopped here in previous session. Um, we have got one model which is called Baldrige criteria, and it says that Baldrige criteria for performance excellence. It provides a framework for assessing performance with a view to improving performance. You should remember that, like when I say, like, when we say organizational performance and we say, okay, let's measure how good or bad we are doing, we need to have certain dimensions that on which dimensions we should consider assessing the performance. So Baldrige, it gives you those dimensions that, okay, you should be seeing the performance of a business in terms of leadership, vision, in terms of strategy, in terms of, customer service excellence, in terms of operations. So it gives you 8 dimensions on which you should assess the performance. Unfortunately, it does not tell you how to improve it. Okay, so it is only a measurement tool, it is not a management tool. Like, there are two things, we call it performance measurement and performance management. In performance measurement, you measure it, that these are the results, and it tells us if we are doing good or if we are doing bad and whatever. But it does not tell you how to overcome those weak areas. It only will tell you that these are the weak areas, these are the good areas, and through that you compare it, by the way. So those dimensions you measure, you set some KPIs, key performance indicators, for those different dimensions, and you you set targets on how to improve your KPIs in those areas. So the list of those factors are visionary leadership, if that is missing or available in the organization. Focus on success, which means that how good are you on result oriented performance. Like, working hard is good, but end of the day results, this is where we count. So we focus on success in different areas. So it means that the targets are set there. You have targets, you have KPIs, and you are trying to achieve those targets and KPIs. Ethics and transparency, this is a very important area. Organizational, I mean, the how much transparent systems you make and how much you give value to ethics and ethical principles internally and externally. Societal responsibility. So this area is covered by your corporate social response. If you see that, these are the areas which we have been discussing in different parts of your syllabus. Like, one part of the syllabus was about ethics, one was about strategy, one was about corporate social responsibility, one is about transparency, which is corporate governance, organizational learning and agility, and how, I mean, individuals they learn, organizations they learn, we keep learning targets, and are we learning or not? Because organizations, they can only improve through learning, just like individuals they improve through learning. So we build systems for recording the data, for understanding, through that understanding, interpreting, we learn things, and then we enhance our learning through different training programs. And and then that enhanced learning will only make you able to perform better. Valuing people, I mean, just like I say that, whatever you did yesterday, if you didn't learn anything new, it is most probably today you are going to perform in the same way. You need to learn things. And not only, when I say learn, it's only means your hardcore knowledge. You learn soft skills also, you learn processes also, you learn management techniques also. So learning is important. I mean, if you are the same person what you were like 1 year ago, output will also be the same. If you are the organization what it was 1 year ago, today output will also be the same. Valuing people, it's, I mean, how do you value people? And throughout this course, my very big focus has been on people. People, like, it is their employees, it could be your staff. Here we are actually specifically speaking about staff, because when we speak about customers, they are also people, but we don't call them people, we call them customers. Okay, they're also human beings. But when we speak about people, we typically mean our own people, which mean the staff. And customer focused excellence. You see, we have separated people and customer. Customer is also people, but is also human being, but it does not, we don't bracket it into people. When we say people, it means understanding our own staff. Customers and focused excellence, customer focused excellence, and delivering value and results. How do we deliver the value? How do we deliver the results? And management by fact. Now, this management by fact, actually, it is not a dimension. I mean, it looks like number 9. It is not number 9, actually. I should say that these are 8 factors here. Let's remove it. So management by fact is an overall approach that how do you manage things? Do you just manage it on your whims, on your gut feelings, or we call it management by fact, which means you collect data, you analyze data, you do rational analysis, and you do rational or logical decision making, which has some certain basis. Okay, it's not like anybody's opinions. So you are not um, taking decisions based on mere opinions. Those opinions or suggestions or recommendations, they should be uh, supported or justified by some facts. This is your Baldrige criteria. Now we see that elements of the Baldrige assessment. Now those elements which we discussed here, we are going to do a breakdown. Leadership must set the direction of their organization and establish clear performance expectations for it. Leadership focuses on the role of senior leadership, what senior managers, what we expect from them. Are we engaging them in micromanagement, or they are in the supervisory role, or they are in the direction setting process? And governance and social responsibility, which is actually how to say it, it goes with the leadership role. Okay, your people at the bottom or people at the middle, they cannot set directions for governance, or they could not set policies for governance, and they could not establish an environment of social responsibility. It has to come from the top. Like the people at the execution stage, they only execute. Leaders, they have to set these policies and standards. And strategic plans are then developed, and the strategies and goals needed for the organization to achieve its performance expectations are defined. So we have got objectives. To achieve those objectives, we make strategies, and we see that they are in line, they are aligned, and there is no drift, or there is no divorce between the strategy and objectives. There should be a coherence between them. So strategy development process, how it is, how to say, how it begins in the organization, how strategies are developed, how inputs are taken, and then how strategies are executed. Remember, there are two things always: strategy development and strategy implementation, which we call execution. Good strategies, a lot of organizations, they make a lot of good strategies, but most organizations, they fail in execution. It is just like you and I, we fail in execution. Like every night when we go to bed, we make a plan that tomorrow morning I will wake up early, I'll go to gym, but then I don't go, because execution is something where you need willingness, you need will, you need commitment. And the same happens in organizations. You make plans, you make strategies, but then you are unable to execute them, because execution depends on two things. One, resources, which you have to allocate. So sometimes organizations, they fail to provide or allocate those resources. And another thing is commitment of your people, and sometimes, or motivation of your people. People are committed, but they are not motivated. These are two different things. Okay, I'm a very committed person to one task, but I'm not motivated to do another. uh, I'm a very hardworking person. I'll do everything, which I feel that it should be done. Unless you convince me that this is what must be done, I will not be able to achieve it. So commitment is there, but motivation to do something should also be there. So, and that is where execution stage fails, because strategies are made and people are not taken on board, and they are not motivated, and they don't own the task. So two stages, development and implementation. And these two should be separately monitored. Then customers, your focus should be on customers. To be successful, the strategies must enable the organization to meet the needs of its customers effectively. I mean, your strategy, if it is only focused on one group of people, which is shareholders, bringing some certain return on investment, business will fail ultimately because that strategy is not delivering value to the customer. So that should also be kept in mind, that whatever strategies and the business performance, when you measure, customers are getting value for the long term or sustainable growth. Listening to the voice of the customer engagement. So what is the system in place within your organization? Do you listen to your customer? Do you engage with your customers? Because if you do not engage with your customer, the relationship becomes weakens, and ultimately the relationship just, it fades away. Measurement, analysis, and knowledge management. This is where you are talking about your learning, and we get this knowledge and, knowledge management. How do we do within the organization? Workforce, this is where we speak about people. Okay, when we said people, this is the area. So the efforts of skilled and motivated staff. So staff not only should be skilled but also motivated. Without motivation, people can't do anything. When you are not motivated, you don't even go to get a glass of water for yourself. That's what demotivation can do. They are central to successful strategy, implementation, and excellence in performance. Workforce, we say, we need energetic people, we need committed people, we need hardworking people, and we also need motivated people, motivated towards the task, motivated towards the achievement of the goals of the organization. Without enthusiasm, nothing can be achieved. So, and how do you create that enthusiasm? You create a better working environment. Okay, a good working environment not only means something like a comfortable office space, which is of course very good. A very comfortable working space is also a legal right or statutory right of the employee, but also the working environment depends on the processes, it depends on the relationship between different people. You might see many people who are working in very good salaries and they leave the company. They leave the company, and sometimes they leave the company for almost equal salary, and sometimes they leave the company even for a lower salary, because financial compensation cannot retain people for a long period of time. uh, the relationship within the staff, the procedures which you make, how much opportunity you give people to do their work independently, where they feel independence, they feel empowered, and they feel that they are contributing. And when the results are achieved, they are properly communicated, they are rewarded. So all these things together, you call that working environment. Working environment does not mean the office space. And workforce engagement, how do you engage your people in the things which they do? Okay, so I mean, whatever processes we are executing, our people should be part of development of that process, so that end of the day they should own it, that okay, in my opinion, this is how things should be done, and this is what the company has agreed, and I know that this is how things should be done, and let's do it. So you need to engage people. Operations, your activities, operating efficient and effective processes are vital in enabling an organization to implement its strategy effectively. Of course, we focus on operations, work processes, efficient work processes, minimizing the waste. Waste does not mean, when I say waste, remember, sometimes people, they think that, students, they think that waste means, okay, some material, maybe 1 kilogram is lost, maybe 1 ton is lost. Waste is not only waste of material. Waste is anything. Waste is actually coming from movement, unnecessary movement of people. Movement. Two things are there in waste: movement and waiting. Wait. So, for example, if department A has to wait for department B, that is a waste of time. When you wait something, if your goods are, stuck at the customs, it is a waste. If your goods are stuck at the shelf, it is a waste. So waiting is a waste, and movement is a waste. Like when you unnecessarily move people, when you unnecessarily move goods, that's a waste, because waiting also has cost and movement also has cost. So when I say work processes, your work processes should be efficient. Efficient work processes means that no unnecessary movement of people or papers or goods, no unnecessary movement, and no unnecessary waiting time. It has to be fast. So work processes should be efficient. Operational effectiveness we should achieve. Effectiveness, the word, efficient, effectiveness, if you remember the three E's: economy, effectiveness, and efficiency, within the minimizing the cost and achieving the output. Results, another dimension we set. In addition to assessing each of the criteria individually, the framework also highlights the importance of integration. Now, whatever these criteria we discussed just now, which includes your operations and your workforce and your customer excellence and strategy and leadership and focus and transparency, together they will deliver result. So that's the last thing. So result is not a dimension, result is the outcome of those 8 dimensions. When those 8 dimensions, everything has been carefully analyzed, carefully designed, and in place, and in at work, what you receive in the end is called result. And of course, if everything is fine there, this is the output, results will also be good. And we see the results. And how do we see the results now? So that was the input part. Okay, that was my preparation part, that was my recipe thing, that was my recipe of success. If you ask me what is this, Baldrige model, this is the recipe for success. What do you have to add into that to achieve the success? And this is your output. Okay, results, these are your output. And then I say that on which dimension you should measure success. Is it only going to be measured on financial basis, like, oh, I got 21% return? No, results should also be analyzed or viewed on different dimensions. And there are 4 dimensions we say: products and processes. So as a result, we get better products and we get better processes. This is the first thing, that product improvement is happening, process improvement is happening, and this is a result. Not only that I made more money is the result, I have improved my processes. That is a result. I have improved my product. That is a result. And of course, an improved or enhanced product or process ultimately will mean better financial results. Remember, you're learning, and by the way, I am still going back again. It will depend on learning, because when your team is improved, how do you improve your team? Okay, I've got 10 people. You ask me, okay, improve the team. I need to teach them something. Whatever they do, in whichever sphere or domain they are working, we need to learn new skills. We need to learn new methods. We need to improve the way we do things. And learning does not necessarily mean opening up a book and reading something. Learning has many dimensions. So once your workforce is improved, and that improved workforce will design better processes and will develop better products. And these better products and processes ultimately will improve your bottom line. They will improve your financial performance. So learning and development, it means improved team, and improved team means better products and better processes, and better products and processes are ultimately translated into financial benefit. So this is one dimension of my results. The second dimension which I see is my customers. What about my customer, you know, uh, retention rate, customer loyalty, my customer satisfaction, my, how to say, customer profile, my customer portfolios, are they increasing or are they improving or not? Okay, customer base is increasing or not? Are you adding only new customers? Are you losing your old customers? So this is one dimension where we see the business, our result. The third one is workforce. We see the quality of our workforce. Workforce is just like a team. Okay, if you are running a company, imagine that you are a captain of a team. and you have a football team, for example, do you think that you can win a match by adding some weak players into your team? I'm sure if you have to play a football match, you will choose the best people. And then you will try to make sure that all of them are committed to the win. And all of them should be physically healthy, physically fit, mentally communicate, convinced and committed to winning the match. The same happens in a business. Your people, maybe there are 1,000 or 2,000, that is your team. And because you chose to become a business manager, now you have to manage those 3,000 people, maybe 30,000 people. You cannot manage them by yourself. You need to create systems. And those systems should deliver that people, they remain trained, people, they remain committed, people, they remain motivated, and people, they do everything what is necessary to bring success to the company. So this is how business work. Your employees are not just a head count. Don't think that I've got 1,000 people. You've got 1,000 players to take care of. If these players are not playing good in the field, you should not expect to win the game. That's as much simple as it is. Imagine that you have 11, you have to play a football match. Are you going to bring in the weak people? Or if the players are in, are you not going to listen to them? You just say, okay, I don't care, just go to the ground. You listen to everyone so that they are motivated during the game. And then leadership and governance. Of course, what is the role of the leadership uh, and leadership role in terms of strategy development, giving direction, in terms of transparency, systems, governance? So, what is the quality of leadership within the company? Senior managers, senior management, how you are losing people, you are bringing in people, your people, how are they taking responsibility of the organization? So these are the dimensions on which we measure the success of a business. And of course we say financial and market in the end, and you see that we put it in the end. If you put financial results as number one point, you are lost. You cannot. You should, I mean, in our personal life, we have heard many times these things. Don't run after money, money will come to you. Okay. Do your job with commitment, improve yourself, money will come to you. This is what we have learned or heard many times in our personal lives. Same happens in business. If you try to make profits, you will never make profit. Focus on learning. Start the process with learning. The learning will result in improved product processes. Improved product processes will result in better customers, and better customers relationship, or if you are, you know if your results are getting better in customers domain, your metrics, customer metrics are improving. Ultimately you will do good in your financial side, in your financial dimension as well. So financial and the market thing, it is the outcome, it is the last step always. When all those things, the number one, two, three, four things, steps are in place, you are of course supposed to do good, or you expected to do good in the number five as well. So this is the fifth dimension which we see, because of course we cannot say that all of these are doing very good, we are happy, this is like this. Even if it is like this, now you need to sit down and think, where is the problem? Because our objective ultimately is here. Okay, it is just the way I chose. I'm not saying that my objective is to improve product. My objective probably is to improve the money thing, but I know that this is the point where I should start, and it should ultimately translate into better financial results. If it is not translated into proper financial results, I've got excellent product and we have improved the product. I've got excellent processes and we have improved the processes, but still we are not getting results. Then we need to sit down and see, probably we are not properly communicating the product. Maybe we are not properly marketing the product. So then you need to sit down and see that this is the cause and effect. Okay. If cause and effect, they are related. So if these things are in place, financial results should be there. If they are not there, let's sit down again and see the reasons. Analyzing performance. So again, I'm continuing the same thing. This is Baldrige model. The framework are evaluated in relation to four dimensions. Approach: how does the organization accomplish its work? How effective are its key approaches? Like this is the way you do thing, like, banking and online banking, okay? Education and online education, take in and take away, dine in and take away. How do you perform your job? And is it effective way of doing it or not? Second is deployment, which means execution. How consistently are key processes used in relevant parts of the organization? Learning, I have spoken before that you focus on learning. And integration, how well are the organization's approaches aligned to its current and future needs? So we've got objectives. To achieve those objectives, we have strategies. To achieve those strategies, we make processes. How good they are integrated? I mean, are they connecting with each other or not? How well are processes and operations and any associated targets and performance measures harmonized across the organization? Just like we say that if we are focusing on cost cutting, if we are focusing on low cost, entering into some low cost market, we cannot have very expensive retail outlets on the high street market. You can't afford to have that because there's a clear conflict between the objective and the strategy. You can't achieve low cost objective by opening up expensive stores on the high street. Then you've got results are also evaluated against 4 dimensions. So this is where you are actually evaluating your dimensions, those 8 dimensions. Remember the 8 dimensions, those 8 dimensions, we see that approach, deployment, learning, and integration. For example, if I speak about learning, and then I see one dimension was customer. So what information I'm getting? Learning here in relation to customer. So am I trying to understand the needs of my customer? Am I really, are we learning about the feedback of our customers? Are we really trying to learn the changing market needs or even the changing market? So these 4 things you apply on those 8 criteria. So when we say, okay, let's analyze, sit down and analyze, our operations. So on the operations, I should analyze operations on which dimension? These 4 dimensions. And then when you have results, like the 8 dimensions, and the collective outcome of that is called result. Results are also, measured on these 4 dimensions, 3 dimensions: trends, comparison, and integration. Trend. Are results in this aspect of performance improving, staying the same, or getting worse? Okay, we see the trend, last year, this year, and expected, whatever. So where the trend is going. Comparison, how does the organization performance compare with that of other organizations or against any benchmarks or targets which we have set? And then integration, does the organization track the results that are important to it and which consider the needs and expectations of key stakeholders? Does the organization use the results of its performance tracking and decision making? So are we using this data, this information in decision making or not? So these are the 4 dimensions on which we are analyzing the results. So we've got 8 dimensions of performance. 8 dimensions of performance, they give us 5 dimensions of results. And those 8 dimensions and the 5 results, we further analyze them on these bases. Like if I say that these are my result outcomes, okay? Customers, workforce, financial. So if I see financial, how to analyze it? I will go back here and I would say financial, I will analyze it on level. What is the organization's current performance level? How much we are making? Oh, 17%. Trend, how much we were making last year, how much are we making this year? Last year 15, this year 17, it's good. Comparison, what is the target? Target was 20%, we didn't achieve it, but we are improving, but we didn't achieve it yet. And integration, okay, so what do? We have to make decision-making budget for the next year. So this data which we have collected, are we using this data to help us in planning the future, so that we achieve that 20% thing? So this is how you take it logically. 8 dimensions have 4 analysis criteria, 5 results have again 4 analysis criteria. But like I said that in Baldrige model, it doesn't tell me that what to do. If my performance is not good, if my trend is going down, what should I do? Now, for that thing, you use your other tools, but Baldrige will not tell you. Baldrige model will only tell you that, okay, you make analysis. It is the measurement tool. It is not the management tool. So this is end of this Baldrige model. Next topic, we are going to talk about empowering organizations.